Recording in progress.
Um, just to make sure, you want to check your microphone, please, sir?
1 2 3 1 2 3.
Perfection, perfection, perfection. All right. Before I even start, how do you want me to introduce you? I've been starting these episodes and just talking with people and introduce them, but I do put their names, but I'm like, I gotta be consciously aware of introducing people. So, how do you want me to formally introduce you? Do you just want me to call you Big Brother Nick like I normally do?
Sure, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's
Or
fine.
Nicholas Austin?
Yeah.
And Emoji showed me the clip that you sent him from
Yes.
Instagram.
Right.
But anyways, what's going on, peoples? It's your boy Oso. In case you ain't know, so Rhymes Oso to some, but Oso to most, and I am your host for Culture on Culture. Let's start the conversation. Where every week, a different resident, a different community member comes and we sit down. We just have a general conversation on everything in life involving Alexandra Park or just life in general. Today, I have the pleasure of having Big Brother Nick with me. AKA Nicolas Austin. I call him Big Brother Nick, so that's what we go by. To sit down here and we're just gonna chat a little bit, man. Welcome to the platform, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
um, the first question I gotta ask you is, I know I was introduced to you here a few years ago when I started working in the building, but I'm not familiar with how long you've been part of the community for.
I've been part of the community the past 6 years now,
Okay.
um, and I find it's a very vibrant community. There's a lot of talent in the neighborhood. There are a lot of things that Alexandria Park offers that people should be aware about and also participate in.
Mm-hmm.
So those are that's my observation and what I've seen since I've been in this neighborhood.
Okay. Um, how did you end up in the neighborhood by chance? It's just the residents that popped up, or was there a particular reason?
No, the residents popped up.
All right, all right. Um, so in introduction to you, you were also introduced to me as the man with the camera, which you got on your shoulder every time that I see you. What intrigued you with the photography itself, or when did that journey start?
I think I notice everything is it's either video. There's so many platforms in terms of where people um, talk about their lives and document
Mm-hmm.
different aspects of what they do. And I saw photography as a great way of documenting the streets, particularly because of the proximity to Kensington Market.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to document. I don't call myself a photographer.
Okay.
Because I don't do that, all that nice stuff and removing pimples and all that kind of thing.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I just document it raw as I see it and I put it up. I don't sit back and say, oh, I have to structure it this way and light has to be this way. I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I just document the streets, but I just use a camera to do that. And people say, well, what do you do with all of these photos? It's not. It's My project is long term. It's going to be. I'm hoping to when I'm long gone, it's still there
Mm-hmm.
somewhere where people can see how they used to dress, what they did,
Mm-hmm.
what Kensington was like.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long term goal. I don't even think about it, and
Yeah.
I don't have any objective to say, oh, I need to be rich or I need to do, I need to monetize it. No, those are not the things I'm interested in. I'm interested in just documenting the street in a very raw fashion and leaving it there on Instagram or whatever other platform that comes into existence.
Um, so how long have you been practicing that hobby for? Is it
Uh,
fair to call it a hobby?
Yes, it is a hobby.
Okay.
Very much so, it's a
All right.
hobby. It is something that gets me out of my home.
Mm-hmm.
It allows me to interact with people
Mm-hmm.
that I normally wouldn't have even had conversations with because I use the camera as an introduction.
Mm-hmm.
So people that are complete strangers,
Mm-hmm.
I would ask to photograph them, and once they consent, we also have another discussion leads to other things in terms of what they do, what school they attend,
Mm-hmm.
what they're hoping to achieve in terms of the job market. And some of these people, these young Gen Zs and so on, have become really friends. And it's not normally you don't find a lot of young people interacting or having conversation with older people. So I find myself very fortunate and able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the camera that allows me to do that. So street photography is a real passion of mine. It's something that I know that I get out and I'm able to interact in terms of the community and meet other people.
Mm-hmm. Is that you? It's great that you mentioned that because that's one of the things that I find fascinating and incredible about you is the fact that you can walk up to a perfect stranger and not only get them to allow you to take a photo, but you get their personality to show. Like you get that actual person to light up. You connect in that fashion. Like I remember you did the Black 365 photo shoot here with us
Yeah.
at that point in time. And I've always been somebody who's never really been comfortable in front of the camera taking pictures or whatnot. And you made it. Matter of fact, it was so effortless. I didn't even realize you had taken the pictures and gotten the pictures that you got. And the personality that showed through those was just incredible, and it's an incredible talent that you have for that. Um, and yeah, that's something like even till this day. Sometimes I see you and you don't see me, but I'll be walking through the market doing something, and I see you walking with your camera, and I see you engage with folks, and you get those pictures. And your IG, I've gone through the IG a few times, and seen the pictures, and it's like, okay, I remember seeing that person out in the market, and oh, that's my boy, such and such, or oh, I know that person, whatnot, and just the mix of people that you actually capture is incredible. And um, just before we got on camera, we were talking about music and the pureness of it. I think that's part of it is the pureness that you take the pictures from, and the fact that it's not you're not trying to promote some magazine or get discovered and be a super photographer. Like you enjoy taking those pictures, you enjoy the interaction, and you just want to leave that as I don't know if you want to call it a legacy, but kind of like a timestamp or a time capsule. Um, and that purity, I think, is what allows that work to speak in the way that it does. So I definitely got to commend that.
Thanks. The way I look at it is that I'm authentic in terms of my approach to people,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have any hidden agenda. It's just I want a photo, and I see something, and I want to be able to capture it, and that's what it is. Um, and I feel very blessed that I'm able to interact with people in that manner because it gives me I'm able to get images that other people and you that not able to get. And they're very, very good photographers out there, but they would ask me, how do I do it? And I said, just be natural, be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Just, approach people in a very genuine manner. Tell them exactly what you want to do. Because I tell them, I said, listen, I'm going to put this up on Instagram. I don't hide anything from them. I want to take a photo. These are the ones that I've taken before, and I would like to add you to the mix that I have. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do. I approach it in a very genuine manner. This is what it is. I don't. There's no hidden agenda. That this is where the photo is going to be, and you can look for your photo there. And if you do want the photos, I'll send them to you.
For the folks that don't know, what is the handle for the IG
Festivals in Toronto.
festivals in Toronto? Okay. Um, yeah, no, like I said, I admire the work because I admire the personality that you capture. And you said it definitely comes from the way that you connect with people and the way that you approach it is very genuine. Um, and kind of to go to our conversation prior to the camera, that's I know you asked me about music and me making music and whatnot, and I'm like, I don't know, like I don't feel the passion for the music in the same way because it's really become more business than anything else. The artistry um, is kind of lost. Even with there's even artists who claim it's for that purity, but their actions don't exactly speak the same language. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, you see, that's why I was fascinated with the depth of what you said, because when I asked you about it, you mentioned to me that you don't follow a particular formula. And you said that, some artists follow a particular formula,
Mm-hmm.
they see success. This is how Drake does it, or this is
Mm-hmm.
how this person does it. So why don't I do it the same so that I can make money? And that really, stuck with me when you said, that's not real creativity, because creativity comes from a different place. And I like that because I can see how revolutionary that is.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that people going back to actually creating and genuinely coming with something that is new and
Mm-hmm.
authentic. And that's what that really resonated with me, because I never looked at it in terms of people following a particular formula. I just figured, oh, they're creating. And you made me think about it in terms of how what they're really doing, some of them, they've gotten away from creativity and just looking, okay, they're chasing the money.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's going to make me successful if I do it this way. So they're not really doing anything that is new. They're basically copying a pattern that exists. And that, for me, was a point that I never really looked at, and I had to think about it and say and agree with you and say yes, you are correct about it, because some of the creativity has been lost, because you can it's the same replication of other things, other beats that other people have, and they do it this particular way. And I like that. I really, really, that is something that other artists should really think about, in terms of they've given up that creative process and basically chasing the money and looking after what has been successful. So they're just duplicating things that are there.
Um, and I mean, far be it from me to like my mission in life isn't really to tell anybody how anything should be. Like art is art. It's up to the interpretation of whoever is observing it. Right? In the same fashion, I don't think you would look at somebody with a camera and say you need to photograph like this. You need to do. It's up to you what drives you. What I think the part that resonates is the same thing that I say allows you to capture the photos that you. It's a passion of yours to genuinely want to capture um, the beauty in the world or the ugliness, whichever side you want to view it from, but to capture it in its rawest form and then allow the observer to go from there. And I feel too many artists have fallen in love, me included. Like I grew up looking at artists and music and being like, wow, I wish I can captivate like that. I wish I can be on stage like that. I wish I can have those cars, the this, the that, the third. Like it's presented in such a desirable fashion. I can't fault anybody for wanting to pursue that and want to emulate that. But um, one of the realities that it was actually something that was posed to me where it was like, all right, well, if you say that it's not for that celebrity and whatnot, then what exactly are you doing this for? What is the purpose? What is the drive? And in going down that rabbit hole of thinking that, that's where I was kind of like, well, I was influenced by so and so and this and that and whatnot. So how much of this is authentically me being myself? Yes, I do love music. I love to sing, but would I record an R&B record? Of course not, because my voice doesn't sound like so and such. But then at the same time, there's a guy by the name of, we'll just say like Andre 3000, who does not have the greatest voice in the world, but did an incredible album called The Love Below that took the world by storm just because it was something creative and brand new. I think there's an interview I saw of him where his hit record, Hey Ya, his boy was like, man, if you put that record out, your career is over. And it was the complete opposite. And that just came from him artistically saying, man, I want to try this. Let me see what happens. No fear in when his boy told him, you know what, your career will be over. If it's over, it's over. But I got to try this. I got to live with my convictions. And I think that's the beauty in the artistry that feels lost is having the strength or willingness to fall on your convictions, right or wrong. Right? Like when you mentioned it to me earlier that I was correct, I was like, it's less about me wanting to be correct. It's just me wanting to be honest.
Yeah, but I thought that is a very, very interesting way to look at the music industry as is now, how it is, and how it has changed, and moving forward, how it's in terms of people being creative, have they lost a lot of creativity because they have followed a particular pattern? I don't know. You know that industry more than I do, and you can speak more to it than I can. But you have given me something to reflect on, to think about, and now that I see or I listen to music, is to really reflect on what you have said. Is it coming from a real place? Is this something that's new? Is it creative, or it's the same old tired formula that people are using? So, it's something that's really stuck with me, and you definitely give me things to think about when I'm actually listening to music and looking at an artist and selecting and asking myself, well, why do I like this? And is there creativity? Well, there is creativity, yes, but in terms of what you have said, I really take that to heart. So it was very good.
I appreciate the flowers in terms. I strongly do believe art interprets reality or interprets life. Or am I saying that right? Art interprets reality. I think the saying is something along those lines, but I don't think it's just a music industry thing. I think it's a life thing. Like, and it seems like it's not by accident, but in every episode I speak upon it, there's so much emphasis on money and finance and commerce and status and whatnot. Not just in music. I think that why question folks should ask themselves on a daily basis. Like, why do you wake up and go to this particular job? Why do you go to this particular bar on every Saturday? Why do you drink that particular drink all the time? And it's not to, for me, it's not to say whether it's right or wrong. It's to understand, to get a full understanding of why you operate. Right, and I know I had some conversation with some gentlemen a while back, and I posed that question. I'm like, why don't you want to know why? I was like, I don't care about the why. I feel that's the lost part, is people don't care enough about their whys and why they do things, why they pursue things, why do they discuss things. I love conversation because of this interaction. Like, I can always tell your personality with the way that we were introduced, and when I see you in the market and you approach people and how you get their photos and the way your why is pure, it's genuine. There's no hidden agendas behind it. You can tell that from your approach. You can tell that from the art displayed, right? But that's because you understand your why that you do it. And I that's kind of why I push towards people, like, asking why. Like, why do you do this? Why do you like that? Why do you listen to that? Like, I grew up listening to hip hop my entire life. That's my favorite genre. But as I'm getting older, why am I going to ignore the better judgment I have now with the music that I'm intaking just for nostalgia? doesn't mean I could. Yeah, the record was dope when I was 17. But I'm 44 now. My priorities are a little different. The way I view things is different. So it's okay if my preferences change. Right? It's the part of the growth. It's the part of life. But it starts with asking why. Why am I listening to this? Oh, I'm listening to this because it's nostalgic. All right, cool. How is it serving you now?
Well, you see, also you're a thinker.
I am.
That you are. So you find, so other people look at things in a very superficial manner, and they don't question, they don't sort of inquire, and they don't dig deep, they don't go below the surface. And that's what I like about you, is that you question, you observe, you question, and you dig deep. And that is something that is very admirable. And as a young person, I see you as a young person. I being the age I am. So, and I like the idea that you inquire, you want to know, you just don't take things at surface level. And that is something that a lot of young people, like yourself and younger, should question, and they should look at life differently, and just ask themselves questions. Why am I doing what I'm doing, and am I genuine about what I'm doing? So you're really touching things that I think is very, very important, especially in terms of this generation and the ones to come, because the world has changed. I mean, social media it's no longer we send emails to people now. That's not how we actually converse. We basically have conversations through TikTok or Instagram, and that is the way in which we communicate. I remember, emails were a big thing. How people don't even check the emails now. Because everything is instant. I want instant gratification. I want instant reply. Everything has to be now. Don't tell me about tomorrow. Tell me, I don't want it. I want to see it right away, right in the next 10 minutes, or few seconds. Text me. Look at text. Look at texting. I mean, in terms of where we are now, we want it right now. Not even, I'm not even going to look at Instagram. You just text me whatever you have to say. And it's very, very interesting, and how the world is. And we no longer have conversations between people. We have conversations, yes, but not in terms of interaction like both of us are having right now. People don't really speak with each other. They basically text people in terms of a message. They want to tell you something. They're not going to pick the phone up and call you. They don't even want to hear your voice. They just want to see it in print, okay? And then that's how they want. So they're in their own bubble, and they basically communicate with another person in their own bubble. And that's how it is. So we have lost conversations, actually having conversations with each other, and consequently we're separated in many ways. We basically, in our own world, we don't want to interact with people, talk with people. We don't do that. Conversations are not like how they used to be. People figure they're all in a hurry, so the conversation, no, I don't want to talk. That's a waste of time. They don't even hang out. They basically, I'll send you a message. Somebody will say, okay, call me later. Say, I'll text you, I'll send you a message. And that's it. That's how people communicate. They're not going to pick the phone up and hear a voice at the other end. They don't have time for that. They're too busy. Their lives are too busy. Or it seems. So.
Seems is a very important word there. Seems is a very important word. It's you touched on something that's a very interesting talking point, and I don't know a right or wrong answer to it, because there needs to be a balance. I definitely agree. The art of conversation, like we're engaged in right now, is becoming a lost art. It still happens, but fewer and far between. But part of it is I understand the clarity that comes from a text message, right? It's there, it's documented. You can read it, you can see exactly what it is, but text don't exactly contain tone, right? It's hard to gauge context. It's hard to gauge tone. It's hard to gauge the emotion behind the text. So it provides some clarity, which sometimes get lost in conversation because listening skills are varied.
You see, this is why what you're doing in terms of podcasts is very important because it also develops people's listening skills, and we have conversations. We're actually sitting, talking to each other, and having a conversation. And this is why podcasts and a lot of podcasts becoming, be it Joe Rogan or whoever it may be, you find that a lot of people gravitate towards that because even in the car they can listen to a podcast while driving, and that's why podcasts are so important and how it's made a comeback in the sense of conversations because people tune into a particular podcast that they like, and you are in a very powerful position to reach a lot of people and young people who would basically tune into your podcast from Alexandra Park and basically listen to what you have to say and your take on life, how you see life. So you're doing a very, very important job by sharing that and inviting guests to share their experiences and what is happening and taking place in the world as they see it. So, I have to congratulate you in terms of what you have done and what you continue to do. And you're making a tremendous contribution to reaching people and influencing and letting them think about something that they never thought about before. Because we all like to be challenged. We think that we're going down a particular road, and then somebody comes with a different perspective. And we say, I never looked at it at that particular. So it challenges us to look at life differently and to expose ourselves to all sorts of information. And I think that you're making a great contribution here at Alexandra Park in terms of what you do.
I definitely appreciate that. And I mean, you spoke on gratification and whether instant or delayed. Again, I can find the similarities in the fact that I don't know what's going to come from this podcast. I just know I have to do it because my spirit's been calling me to do it for a very long time, and I've been procrastinating on it because I think part of the problem is we remember I said seams. We fall victim to the impression of what the world looks like, and I feel like that's where podcasts have become successful is because we get so used to seeing such polished presentations of people, whether it's on their stories, their reels, their shows, their music videos, or whatever the platform be, that when they actually sit on a podcast and they're just having general conversation, you get to actually see their characters. Oh, they laugh like that. Oh, what his voice breaks like such and such. Oh, he has a sense of humor. Actually, he's not always serious. Oh, he actually thinks like this. Like it allows you to actually see that genuine person without the filter. Right. So yeah, that's the amazing thing about. And then the other thing is, I don't feel like we pay enough attention to the people that are around us and how amazing they actually are. Like you speak about this building, and in this small building, and spending so much time here, you see both sides of the coin. There are situations that frustrate me because this is still Alexandra Park. I still have traumas from the area and whatnot. I still have my upbringing. I still have my memories. But there's also so much beauty that I see that inspires me every single day. And it's little stuff, and I just feel like it's important to have a platform to discuss those things, to highlight those things. Right, so that I can bring somebody like a Trevor on here who I'm super proud of and let him know that. So I can bring a Jonathan on here and let him know the same thing. So I can bring you on here and let you know that I appreciate that work that you do and the person that you are in the community. it's important that we have the platform to do that, and that we do that, and we highlight what, in my opinion, real stardom looks like. Right? It's doing it for the gratification that you may not even realize. Like, I may never see the benefits of what this podcast does, but I now understand I need to do this podcast regardless.
But you see, what you're doing is so important because it's giving voice to a community that is not recognized, seen, or heard. And you basically, your podcast allows and gives the community a voice. And that's why I see this work as so important, because people need to hear from the community and hear from people who live in the community and who are, part or who even in transition, they pass through, but knowing that they're vibrant, this is a vibrant community with a lot of very interesting people, but the point of it, people have to get out of the comfort zone and interact with those people so they know exactly what is happening, because we all have different experiences, but we all are human beings who experience pain, suffering, love, exhilaration, the happiness, depression, all those things. We share that as human beings. We have all of those things, and we experience those things, and we need to reach out and find out, well, what are these people's lives like? And it's no different than yours in a sense that the only thing that may separate different communities is the amount of money that a particular community has as opposed to another. But when you get down to it, we're just human beings, on a journey. And you need to know, I need to know, how are you doing this? I need to listen to you and figuring out, wow, I can use that. I can incorporate that into my life. Why not? And, everybody has a story, and everybody can have something to bring to the table and share. It may not be something that you have thought about, but everybody have a story. So let's take the time to understand and listen to these stories. And your podcast was a great vehicle for people to get their stories out, and for the community as a whole to, show the world basically, hey, listen, I'm here too. Don't ignore me. I'm here.
No, absolutely. Again, like, I take inspiration from the things around me. You're a gentleman who, like, I remember one other time when we first met, you actually brought up the idea of podcast, and you were like, I got some equipment and stuff. You should probably do a podcast. It's been about 5 years since that conversation, but we're finally here.
Yes.
But I say that because, like, the seniors walking group, the ping pong table and whatnot, like, you are somebody who, excellent ping pong player, by the way, as humble as he looks, excellent ping pong player. You are somebody who always has something to present for the community. You look out for the seniors, hands down, and you advocate for the seniors, hands down. But you always have an idea or a thought or a suggestion to bring to the people, and that inspires me to do the same. So I give you the same kudos in paying that energy forward, right? And I guess this is gratification. I can't say instant, I can't say delayed, but it's some gratification of some sort for doing such.
Yeah, but I really admire your technical skills and what you're able to do, not just with podcasts, videos, recordings. I come in here sometimes and there's going to be an event and I see you rushing around doing all sorts of things, and I said, wow, this guy is a one man. I said, this guy, the way he just, and I said, oh, he has all this technical knowledge, and I really admire that. I don't have those technical skills, but I really admire that about you and your dedication, but also the thought processes that are involved when you're coming up with an idea, or I may ask you a question, and the way that the answer you will give me, I always have to think, say, wait, I didn't think about that. Okay, I didn't expect that answer either. So those are the things that I really admire about you.
Um, I think the beautiful thing is, and I think the underlying part of this conversation is, a lot of what drives us is passion driven. Like um, since I was a kid, I was always the one to put together we got the new stereo in the house. Osopan, come, put this together. We got the new video cape system. All right, put this together. How do I do this? And I've always had this entry with electronics and technology and whatnot. Um, I love performances and stuff. I've worked in that industry for a long time, so I have a real passion for putting that type of stuff together and whatnot. And um, that just makes it a lot easier to do this stuff. Like, you'll talk about me running around setting up stuff or whatnot, and at certain times I'm like, man, I could be making so much more money doing this somewhere else or doing such and such. But because I have such a strong vision of this building or the community being a hub for its talent, for its artistry, for its presentations, like, I know it has to start somewhere, and why not start with me? Why not sacrifice that time and do a little one, two, and hopefully somebody along the way sees it and picks up the same passion and figures out the same thing and can continue to pay it forward and take that power over.
Yeah, but we need you here, Osho. We definitely need you. You're a person that is it's you're needed in the community, and you have a gift. It's a natural gift. You have that ability uh, to do things, and I don't. It doesn't matter what it is. I see you, move out, and you say, "Yeah, I can do that." You just do it. I mean, I don't even think you think about it. You just do it, and those are things that I really admire. I've seen stuff that you have done, printing, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
You have that ability. T-shirt, you can do anything. I can say that. I think that you could do anything that you really want to do. It's just like, and you're a very humble person. You're not out there pounding your chest. You just do things, um, and that's what I admire, the humility, but know that you have such great talent, and you can do a lot of things, and you have a lot of things to show a lot of young people, and you're an inspiration to a lot of people, and I'm sure that people look, and especially young people look at you and say, "Wow, okay, I can do that," and they learn from you, and keep on being a leader, and keep on doing the things you do.
Um, well, I'm definitely hoping I can keep up with that. Again, I take that statement "man-made" seriously, and man-made being human, not man, but human. I take that very seriously, and knowing that anything is man-made, why not me?
Good.
And also, like, so there's some people who might want to do a podcast, but like, well, we got to rent a space. This is the print shop,
That's right.
right? And I'll use this room, and I might be in the middle room another time, or I might be in the gym, or I might be in my office, it might be outside one day. But a friend of mine always said two things to me. Use our ones and twos, and I like to say ones and twos make threes and fours, because you just take those steps and you'll get where you're getting. And then the other one is find a way to make a way.
Well, you definitely have found a way to make it work. And it's working really good here.
Mm-hmm.
But really, thanks a lot for having me. I really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And continue the great work that you're doing. Um, We need you in Alexandra Park. You know, you're very much needed, and you know, just continue doing what you're doing.
Um,
And the idea in terms of the community, building the community, um, you know, you were very instrumental in bringing a lot of things to the forefront, and just keep on with all the innovations and the things that you're doing. What I really do is I look at, you know, it's a small community center, but yet you have such a huge footprint
mhm.
in the society, and just keep on doing it.
All right. I got one last question for you before you take off. Um, who is somebody that you feel I should have on this platform or speak to on this platform?
That is a very, I can think of several people, but
If you want to name a few people, you can name a few.
there's a tech guy, he's older. His name is Norman Lewis, and I think he's a good person because both of you will be able to bounce things off of each other
Okay.
because you all are, you speak the same language in terms of technical language,
Hmm.
and he has, because he's a certified electrician. He's coming from that particular,
Hmm.
um, you know, place, and I think that you guys will be able to speak and have a conversation. I'll introduce him to you and get you guys to get together.
Absolutely, absolutely appreciate that.
So,
Thank you for your time, sir. I ain't gonna hold you. I know you're a busy man.
well, no, thanks for having me. That's one of the things, you know, and thanks for, you know, you ask the tough questions, and I have to, you have me having to really think about it. But and that's one. You see, that's the ability to be able to go from one thing to the other and transition smoothly, and basically, you know, you're good at interviewing, you're great at answering questions, and you have me thinking, and I will always remember what you told me about hip hop. So that's something I'm left with.
Appreciate that. Appreciate love. Appreciate love. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, y'all. It's another episode. Thank you for tapping in. Until the next one.
Thank you.
Oh,
You're good, you know, little brother. You're good, man. I like it.